Okay, so good evening, students. Welcome to this day 7, chapter 3, day 1. So today's e-chocolate goes to Darshan. Then we have Gundu Chandrasekhar, Manisha, Kriti, Harshit, Rajiv Kumar Singh, and Ritika. So good evening to all of you. So let us start. So any questions you have from the previous two chapters discussion we completed? Just 10 seconds for you to ask any questions. You can ask any questions from those two chapters. Yeah. So once you are through that, we'll. Okay. So Swati is there and Shivranjani is also there. So let us start today, chapter 3. This is one of the chapters that you are much more familiar with this chapter, information systems and components. So as I understand that lot of whatever is there in chapter, you have been going through, reading through your school also. Probably those of you who might have, we had someone that uh, they had a subject computers, probably in 12th. Some of you must probably share that. So even beyond that, lot of things you already know. So Harshit has pushed the toughest question. Let me read what Harshit has said. सर आप पढ़ाते हैं तो सब समझ आता है, लेकिन जब खुद से पढ़ते हैं तो कंफ्यूजन होता है, रिटेन कैसे करें? So Harshit, it's a good question. Let us start with this only. So the point is that the one thing that I've asked all of you to do is keep a note of all the examples that we are sharing. The whole presentation is basically made from the module that you must have seen there. So just because it goes in a serial. So wherever we are in the module, you have the PPT, just keep a tag of the examples. And then one thing I've asked you that your observation means, because the examples we take are, most of the examples are from daily life. So say for example, technology, we have been talking about so much about technology. So everything you know. So the only thing that you need to do is able to relate those examples to your own daily experiences. And I've already told you that then you can always add. So whatever we have talked about, if you feel like that you need to add something to that as an example, kindly add those examples. That is why I'm asking you to, I've been asking so many questions that I want these steps, the business process automation, your own experiences. So see, the best is that the thing that you experience, that is going to be the most easy to remember and very easy to write in examination. The only one thing we want from you is that whatever you write, it has to be logically written. Means you must be able to link your example to the content, the main topic that you are relating that example to. So that is what is needed. And believe me, by doing this, by learning this way, you are going to add a lot of quality to your answer. And that quality, because your understanding is going to improve a lot. So this is one thing. Then let us have 1 more minute for examination. We have been talking about para 1, para 2, para 3. So your answers have to be logically written. Then one more thing that I've asked you is that you must start doing a writing practice at least 30 minutes a day. Please do it. See, my prayers are always that all of us must clear examination in first attempt, but then it generally doesn't happen. So between 2 attempts, my understanding is that only time you pick your pen to write a long theory answer is in the next examination. So we must save ourselves from that. Kindly keep a habit of writing continuously, 2 pages, 3 pages, whatever is the time it takes. And do write legible handwriting. ऐसा लिखें जो एग्जामिनर को पढ़ने में हेल्प करे. Use big fonts and legible handwriting is needed. Okay. Okay, so now Manisha has put a good question. Difference between data diddling and subversive attack. So, Manisha, subversive attack is a generic heading. Okay. So, subversive attack, so data diddling will be an example of subversive attack. Okay. So, subversive attack is any attack that is done to harm your data, harm your information. There are many ways of harming the data information. One of the ways, data diddling. So, on the header, your topic heading could be subversive attack, and then you could have more examples than that in that. So standard disclaimers. Now today chapter 3, information system and its components. So again we'll keep it in a discussion format itself, allowing you to talk, share everything. So I'll be again asking many questions to which you all have been responding very well. Okay. So Sunil Kumar, welcome Sunil, welcome Dikshita. Great. Okay. So this is introduction, information system, components, controls, auditing, concepts about data, organization structure, responsibilities, SOD, segregation of duty. Kindly understand that we are starting chapter 3, and this word segregation of duty we talked about in chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, and we are going to talk in the subsequent chapters also. So this word is an important word. Do carry this word. You are learning this word in your auditing also, part of internal control study also. Maker cannot be checker. Two duties which cross each other in terms of job responsibility. They must not be merged to a single individual. Maker has to be different. Checker has to be different. Very important. So in fact, the slide that you are looking at, there are at least 3 words which are going to be repeated in all the 5 chapters. The word control, the word auditing, the word duty. So in chapter 1, we talked about chapter 2, and now again in chapter 3. So just keep tag of these words. These are very important. I've already asked you that please keep remembrance of auditing as a word in terms now that Ministry of Corporate Affairs circular that all companies need to have an audit log that is non-editable. So no edit can be done in that audit log. So it becomes very important and critical to keep a tag off. So just keep carry these words. Then let us go to the module. Let us start from the basic flowchart for the chapter. Just give me a second. So here is the whole flowchart from the module, what we are going to read through. Let us have a very fast run through the flowchart. Components, people, computer system, data resource, networking and communication system. Then when we talk of computer system, you have hardware and software, one aspect. Then second aspect is controls and its classification. So objectives of control, the purpose they achieve: preventing, detecting, correcting. Then based on the nature the controls are securing or the way they are put in place: environmental, physical, logical, and information system functions, that is management and application control framework. So this is the whole chapter in summary, but we are going to have a lot of discussion on each aspect of this chapter. Yeah. So let us go back. क्या बोल रहे हैं? हाँ. Okay. So so this is how it the whole flowchart looks like. Let us go to the uh, PPT again. Yeah, just give me a second. So that was the flowchart. Now, what exactly we are looking for. So the chapter is about like from individual network, we are moving towards connected networks or network. In fact, uh, today, World Wide Web, so version 1, version 2, we have, it is being said it is version 3 like AI, artificial intelligence and machine learning are and other automated technologies are reducing human interventions. This has given birth to a new technology word called as IoT, Internet of Things. We did talk about Internet of Things. We have shared an example in chapter 1 also. The the idea is see the way technology is making inroads. In fact, because this is a topic that is being talked about a lot. As on 31st July, something around 6.80 crore returns have been filed by of individuals. Of that 6.80 crores, uh, more than 3.5 crore returns have been processed. Uh, Now, I want to share this example. See how government is using technology. I'm sharing this, my very personal experience on the way technology is being used. So last year, when we were filing, I was filing my own return like that. So you must have seen that when you file a return, you have to e-verify. So e-verification code is a 6-digit code. Okay. So it comes on your mobile. So my team member was submitting that return. Then my team member asked me, sir, do I e-verify? So I said, yes, verify. The PAN and Aadhaar are linked. So I got a OTP on my mobile. It's a 6-digit number. So I just read it loudly so that my team member could feed the same in. As soon as my team member fed the 6 digit and press enter, just imagine the event was so learning for me. I was just like, I jumped out of my chair because within less than a second, departments, there's, you must be reading Income Tax Act, Section 143 1A, what they call as a summary assessment. So that order came on my registered mobile. Within less than a second of submitting that last digit of the OTP, I jumped out of my chair. It was an experience to have. Now, how did it happen? So it's a very good reflection how government of India has been using, tax departments are using AI, artificial intelligence, and lot of automation has been built in system. Lot of data analysis is being done. This is allowing it to process such voluminous data. Just imagine that the number of returns filed by Indians. So 7 crore will be probably, if you look by population, 7 crore will be, say, one of the top 50 countries in the world by population size of. So that much people are filing returns and they are being processed. So a lot of data analysis is being done by government and by users across the world. ChatGPT is a word that you are all familiar with. So this is important. And because this networking is there, devices have been connected to each other, a new word has come to light, that is IoT, Internet of Things. We did take examples in chapter 1. Let us repeat those examples. So we talked about water purifier, which has a Wi-Fi connection. So you install the water purifier in your home. That water purifier is linked to your home Wi-Fi. So that water purifier, when the resins in the water purifier go below a specific level or go below a reorder level as set by the manufacturer, the water purifier on its own intimates the company service person that this water purifier is installed in this home and the resins, the filtering chemicals have reduced. So kindly come and refill. That is IoT, Internet of Things. All your electrical devices, your microwave oven, your fridge, your washing machine, your air conditioner, they are all being linked to your home Wi-Fi and they are able to communicate uh, through that home Wi-Fi. You can do that. So that is how IoT is there. That is the next level of technology that is already in your houses. And my calculation is that when all these devices are enabled through IoT and they work on artificial intelligence, so that day is not far off where devices are going to talk to each other. It may appear like science fiction, but that is what the world is going to see. in the coming future. So that is what is happening in technology today. The whole, whatever happens in technology, everything has some key components. The core of above remains the same: people, computer system, that includes hardware, operating system, software, data resources, network, and communication. So this is how you look at it. Now, so when you say information system, what could be characters, constituents of information system? So the way it works, the way information system works will include an input, a process, output, storage, and feedback. So we did this topic is we did talk about. So I did ask you that suppose this whole video lectures, board of studies, live lectures are, say, we call this as an information system. So what will be the input? What is going to be the process, output, storage, and feedback? So you have already answered that. So input is, say, for example, this lecture, these slides. Process is your understanding, your learning. Output is, to me, the result. The output that I want from you is at least 80% marks in this subject. Storage, the way you grasp in your minds, and feedback that you give to the institute. So any system is always going to have input, process, output, storage, and feedback as a part of its characters, contents, like that. So this is how it looks like. So input, business problem in form of data, information, instruction, opportunity. So if we are talking about this class itself, so input is you, me, the lecture. Process, software, program, people, communication, equipment. Process is the way we understand. Output is solution to problem in form of report, graphic, calculation, voices. In our example, output is the result. Story is the way you recall all we are talking about. So that is, say, you can say characters or contents of an information system. Then, with the help of information system, individuals can use computers to collect, store, process, analyze, distribute information. There are different types of information system: manual, informal. So manual includes pen, pencil; informal, word to mouth; formal, written procedures; and technology driven information system. So our core is technology driven information systems. So that includes people, hardware, software, data, network, and communication. So let us take each one by one. This is how it looks like graphically: components, people, computer system, data resources, network, and communication. Within network and communication, you include hardware and software. People. People involved in information system are critical components of information system, from help desk to system programmers, all the way up to CIO, Chief Information Officer. All of them are essential elements of information system. People are the most important element in computer-based information system. The people involved include users of the system and information system personnel, including all the people who manage, run, program, and maintain the system. Let me ask a question. We talked about this in the previous chapter regarding 6 M's that we have been talking about in, say, when we talked about ERP as a system, enterprise resource planning. So the 6 M were men, material, machine, methods, market, and manufacturing, like that. So of the 6 M, suppose the question comes, which M you feel is most important or most critical? Of the 6 M, which an ERP system is going to manage through, which one you feel is the most important and the critical? So I want you to answer in the chat. Okay. So men, money, material, machine, methods, market, 6 M that an ERP manages. Which of the M is the most important? So I want you to write in the chat. Yes. So I would say, so Shivam says MAN. and Prithvi says MEN. So I take MEN, but Shivam is also correct. So men are the most important because the success failure depends on men. The way the system is going to be used by them. That is important. So that is why, see, it's a very good topic. A very important thing to know right now is that, see, whenever you implement good system, so organizations expend lot of money, time, effort to implement good system. The success or failure of that system is going to depend on the way people use that system. That is why whenever organization implement good system, they ensure that there is very good training given to those people. So training per se has huge relevance to success of any system, and to you and me being chartered accountant, you being students, articleship is that creates that skill and competence. So training is a must. Very, very, very important. So all of you have given correct answer. Yes, great. So men are the core of success. Then, so that was first. Let us go to the second. Hardware and software. So when I say computer system, hardware and software, we'll just have lot of questions done here itself. So when you say hardware, so there are input devices, processing devices, data storage and output devices. And when you say software, there are operating system software and application software. So I want all of you to, you can make a selection. So I want you to give example of, say, from hardware, you can give example. Let us start. You are giving example of input devices. So I want you to put in chat input devices as an example for hardware. Okay. So we'll take one by one. So first I want you to say about input devices. So input devices are those which capture data input for further processing. Whatever data is captured in system, that is processed in processing devices. During processing, after processing, this data is stored in specific location in computer. And once processing is done, you can get it output generated. Then when you talk of software, so there are technically two types of software. On the top, you can remember as system software and application software. System softwares are those softwares which create the man-machine interface. Those are system software. And application software are those through which user gets his or her needs fulfilled. So those softwares which are oriented to user needs are application software. Those softwares which create the necessary man-machine interface are system software. Within that system software, one is operating system software. There are others, but operating system software captures more than 90% of the footprint for a system software. That is the most used, most understood. So that is why we are talking about operating system software. Good. So I've got I've got input to my question on input devices. So I'll read the answer. So keypad, keyboard, mouse, screen, mouse. Yeah. So Harshit says processing is CPU, keyboard, mouse, scanner, joystick. Yeah. Game playing. All of you do it. Then mouse, keyboard, mouse, touch screen, data storage. Okay, good. So Harshit says data storage is hard disk. Output devices are screens. Great. So good. So you understand. So now nothing to remember. You understand it. Only thing is you have to do it in a structured format. Let us go ahead. Then yeah, biometric scanner. Good. Shivam has added that. Then CPU. Yes. So information system hardware is part of information system that you can touch. Physical components of technology, computers, keyboard, hard drives, iPad, flash drives are example of hardware. That hardware includes input, process, data storage, device, output device. Let us take them by simple examples. device through which we interact with system and includes devices. So I'll not be elaborating them. If you have any question, please ask. You all remember much better. So keyboard, mouse, scanners and barcode. Yes, today QR code, we all make payment by scanning QR code. You go to a departmental store, the billing counter, they scan the barcodes like that. So just a question for all of you to learn. Okay. So see, when you say business process automation, so you have all gone to departmental stores. See, this is the thought process that we need to build into. Now, barcode reading itself is an automation, but you must have observed that the sales clerk, the sales girl or the sales boy, when they read the barcode, so departmental stores have different ways of reading barcodes from the products. Okay. Visualize, you have all gone to different locations, multiple stores where barcode is being read. I want you to tell me, so I'm giving you an option, okay, to make it simple and to visualize. That visualization is going to be very important. So I have already told you that, see, the best part of this paper is that it is so practical, so important at the real life application level. Now, so there are two basic type of barcodes. One is which I am saying dynamic, and one which I am saying static. Dynamic barcode is where the salesperson, he or she, uh, keeps the barcode in his or her hand and then throws a flash at the product. That is dynamic. Static is that the barcode is installed and then he or she, the sales girl or boy, only brings the product in front of that barcode and it is read. Now, if you visualize that, the example I have given, of the two type of barcode, dynamic is the handheld and static is which is part of the table where the billing is being done. Which you found faster? So if you have to answer which was the where the billing is fast, then I'll tell you how you need to calculate value from this simple discussion. Okay? That is what is needed. That is what is part of this chapter. Okay. So scanners and barcode readers, they are input devices. Okay. If my question is not clear, you can ask that, sir, please explain again. Either if it is clear, kindly start answering. Okay. Then MICR, magnetic ink character recognition. You must have seen the check foil that you submit to the bank. So the bottom 1 centimeter of the check, there's a white bar on which the first six digits are the check number, and the next is a MICR code, that is magnetic ink character recognition, that has the details of the bank and the branch in it. Those are referred to as MICR codes. So today, whether I don't know whether you know it, but it's good. Please keep a tag of it. It is part of your syllabus. You are going to read this, what I am sharing, you are going to read that in law also, that you are going to read in audit also. And the technology is in this, our paper. Today, Reserve Bank has mandated what is image clearing of check. So sometime back, 10 years back, when I think you all have seen check you have seen. Okay. Then if you have seen the check, you have seen the pay slip also, which you fill and drop your check in the drop box of the bank. So I understand you all have seen it. Okay. Now, so what is happening that this MICR readers, they read the check, and today Reserve Bank of India has mandated image clearing of the check. Image clearing of the check means the checks do not go physically from the home branch to clearing house, but the image of the check is sent. So what has happened? I don't know whether you know it, but just remember it because it is part of the syllabus. Say 10 years back, if you suppose you get a stipend check. So stipend check, you go to your bank where you have your bank account and fill the pay slip and drop the stipend check in the drop box. So suppose you drop it today, the amount will be credited to your account day after tomorrow. So it was called as T+2 clearing. Today, because image clearing is there, it is cleared in same day. So that is done through this Mica reader. So technology is going to have a phenomenal impact. And I'll once we complete this slide, I'll read your answer, and then I'll ask you to convert that answer into value. Okay. That dynamic barcode reader and static. Just see if companies do the technology implementation company, if they do intelligently, what impact it has on business. I'll share that. So it's a phenomenal learning thing. Okay. So that is why when we started this lecture, I told you, see, to me and to all of you, this subject has to be absolutely practical, not a single word of theory in the subject. Okay. It's basically how you observe it happen. Then webcams, we understand they cap. In fact, today, you have this, your mobiles are, you have face readers, face reading locks you are doing on mobile. So it becomes an input device. Then microphone, voice-based input device. Stylus, I think those of you who will be using some high-end phones which have a stylus where you can write on your mobile, those are stylus. And touch screen. They are also, our mobiles are a good example of touch screen. So these are all inputs. Let us read your answers. Okay, so we had example for system software. So someone said it is, yeah, iOS and Android are also operating system. Application software, our board of studies application is application software. Good. Yeah. So Gundu Chandrasekhar, I have explained. MICAR stands for Magnetic Ink Character Recognition. It's a code that is at the foil of the check. It is read by system automatically. That is MICAR code. Stylus. Okay, so you want an example of stylus? Show you. Yeah. So, so this is my mobile and this is stylus. So I need not write on my mobile by my fingers. I can write by this. So this is stylus. It's a special device. High-end mobiles who have stylus. If you have seen someone using this iPad by Apple, it has stylus. So Apple pen, they call it. So you write through that. Those are stylus. Yes. So now, so so we have. I'll not read the name of the student, but the student says that, sir, this is a practical subject that we find tough to understand. So I'm with you. But then you have to put yourself. I'll tell you. See, I'm a good marketer of my subject. Okay. Suppose you talk of any practical subject that is 100 marks. Okay. Then, and I say 80% you have to score. So just imagine 6 months, just calculate how much time you give to practical subject to score 80 marks. Okay. So you calculate in your mind. So you are going to take a class for that. You are going to do revision for that. You will appear for mock test series of that. And then you want 80 marks in that practical subject. In this subject, uh, if you are able to only put 25% of that effort that you put for a practical subject, believe me, you will get more than 70%. So it's basically the amount of input you give. So that much input we don't give, so that output is not there. So it's so simple. If you write on your paper that how much time you are going to give for, say, practical subject, so you'll find that you are giving, say, 1000 hours for practical subject to get 80% mark. And to these subjects, take this word as I say it, it will be less than 100 hours. So there's a 10-time difference in the effort that we put. So then the number comes to us as yes. No, Manisha, Intel Core is processor, means it's the computer processor. No, it's not OS. Okay. Now, so based on observation I am sharing, Static barcode readers save time. They are faster. Okay. Because in static barcode reader, the sales person, he or she need not, he or she is only to put from with both the hands, the individual is going to pick one things. But if it is a dynamic barcode, you have your both hands are busy. So you are in one hand you have the barcode reader, other hand you have the product, and then you have to match it. Okay. Believe me, if by using a static barcode reader, you save 1 second. Just understand now the volume of it. So if I'm using a suppose there are top three retailers in India that you know. I'm one of those top three, and I use static barcode reader. And the other retailer uses a dynamic. And because I am using static, I'm only saving 1 second on each item that is built. There are multiple stores that I have. Daily, you have to understand each product I am saying at the time of billing, I am saving 1 second. Now I want you to multiply, extrapolate that. Just imagine the three departmental store daily, how many billing items they would be doing, how many row items they will be doing. Just give a wild guess. What volume are we looking at? Wild figure. My simple calculation is that top three departmental stores across India, they will be generating bill for 1 crore product daily. एक दिन में 1 crore प्रोडक्ट बिल करते ही हैं वो. Suppose I buy 10 products, so I go for billing. So my number of times it will be read is 10 times. So they will be billing 1 crore product daily. So the one using the better barcode system, static, is saving 1 crore seconds every day. And then you multiply by 365, that is 365 crore seconds. Convert that into time and hour, and that much extra billing that person is able to do. Unimaginable saving of cost. So that is what happens when you do a system. Technology good. Yeah. So Gundu Chandra. So I've told you, Miss, this is what you gain from implementing good technologies. Yes. So 1 crore seconds multiply by 365, 365 crore seconds, convert it into number of hours and days. Imagine. So on a single store, if they are billing 10,000 products daily, you convert 10,000 second into hours. So 10,000 second hours, so 60 minutes into 60 seconds, 3,600. That means they are saving 3 hours daily. That much fast billing they will be doing. Just imagine the customer turnaround time that they are going to save on. So that is what happens when you do real good systems. And that is the input that has to come. So the key to our subject is observation. So next time you go to a departmental store or this big retailers, just observe their billing. Just see the time it is taking. And then you go to different locations and the difference it creates. Yes, so Darshan is calculated at least 2 hours per. That is unimaginable. That much additional billing you can do. Just understand. And then convert that billing to value, and then convert the sales value to profit. So now we have brought one more subject in our discussion, financial management. That is. Okay. Then next, processing devices. So inputs, I think it is done. So we had a good discussion. This device includes computer chips. So Intel Core is a chip. Someone gave that example that contain the central processing unit and the main memory. The central processing unit or the microprocessor is the actual hardware that interprets and executes the program, instructions, and coordinates how all hardware devices are going to work together. The CPU is built on a small flake of silicon and contain equivalent of several million, please update, several billion transistors. We can think of transistors as switches, which could be on off, that is taking value 1 or 0. Please understand, and promoting this as a engineering field. So it's a whole process that takes its own time. But uh, believe me, when we were studying in class 10th, so we used to do this physics experiment. So we used to do some this experiment in physics lab by using transistors. So that time the transistors that we used in doing, they were 1 centimeter like that. And when experimentation goes, so those transistors used to emit heat. This chips that are there in your computer, they also emit heat. That is why if you open a motherboard, you find a fan over the central processing unit, because transistors, when they process, they emit heat. And today the technology has been made so compact that uh, a single atom is being converted to work as a transistor. So nanotechnologies are there. So much compactness has been brought. Okay, so Darshan, transistor is an electronic component. That too, till 12th, I was a science student. So you have NPN, PNP type transistors. So these are used in computers' main CPU to create this on-off signals. On-off are basically electrical signals. So based on logics, you create on and off. That is. So on a square inch of silica wafer, a square inch of silica wafer, that means the thickness of silica wafer is nanometers. On that 1 square inch, you have a billion transistors. So billion processors you can do there. That is. So just remember, Darshan, it's an electronic component used in central processing unit of computer. Not beyond that. Nothing is expected beyond this definition. Then each this transistor has three basic components: control unit, arithmetic, logic unit, and process registers. So control unit, which controls the functioning within that. Arithmetic logic unit, where the calculations will be done, where the logics are going to be put in place. And process registers, these are components where it is going to execute that job. Then from this, the next point that comes is the hardware data storage devices. So this hardware data storage, two types of storage. Now this is important because this topic, lot of questions come in examination on this. Okay, so keep your mind to this topic, because it creates a lot of MCQs and direct questions in examination, and it's a scoring topic. Primary memory, main memory, and secondary memory. So let us read through them. Primary or main memory. These are devices which in any location can be accessed by computer processor in any order. So this is basically part of the storage within the central processing unit. Two types are there: RAM and ROM. RAM is random access memory. ROM is read only memory. Please do carry their full forms. They are direct questions. Many MCQs are asked on these two. We'll go to the differences also. Random access memory and read only memory. So let me bring the table from the module. Just give me a second. So primary memory, also known as main memory or internal memory. So please carry these three names. Okay, they can be asked as just for the sake of differences also. So primary memory may also be called as main memory or also may be called as internal memory. It is directly accessed by processor using a data bus. Now, because a technical word has come, I'm just sharing the definition. See, bus, if you've seen motherboard, then you see this electrical circuitry. So this electrical circuitry is called as the bus. Okay. So your digital, this binary digits, the bits travel in these buses. So that electrical circuitry is basically referred to as bus. Then, so primary memory. So first is, it can be called as main memory or internal memory. Then the second line, from the second line, we'll read in the table, because if I read the second line, then it must not lead to any confusion. So there are two basic type of primary memory: random access memory and read-only memory. Now this is important, the name is important, the definitions are important, and many questions you get on this table in your examination. So keep a tag of this. First, data retention. So what I will do, I will define the word and then read the difference so that it's clear to you. Now here, if you want, you can write within data retention, if you want to write what exactly it means. So data retention is डेटा कब तक रहता है, रैंडम इस इन रैम में और रोम में डेटा कब तक रहता है. So the data retention in RAM is, it goes off as soon as you switch off the power. So light बंद करते ही डेटा चला जाता है. But ROM, even if you switch off the power, the data doesn't go. That is why RAM is also called as volatile. So one of the name that they give to RAM is, it is called as a volatile memory. Volatile means it goes off as soon as power goes off. But ROM stays even if you switch off the power. It is called as non-volatile. It doesn't go off. That is. So that is data retention. So you can link data retention to the volatility of the memory. So the question that is, so we'll create questions, okay, so that understanding comes. So there are many ways of asking this question. One can be, which of the two retains data after power is switched off? Okay, so this you must be able to do. I'll share for one. Okay, so one question can be, which of the two memories retains data when the power is switched off? Your answer is ROM. Okay. Second question could be, which of the two is a volatile memory? Your answer is RAM. So you must be able to create this permutation combinations of the questions, because many questions are asked on these tables in examination. Then persistence. The purpose is to hold. Now persistence means that the periodicity, the existence, till what time it exists. So RAM, the data is kept where? For the program which is being executed. So the purpose is to hold program and data while they are in use. So whatever program you are processing, that moment, that program will be held in RAM. ROM, they are used to store small amount of information that is rarely changes. So what you can say is that ROM also holds something, but whatever data, whatever information ROM has, it is constant. It does not generally change. And what is that? So they have also given you what is we call as the bias, the basic input output system. So bias related information is there in ROM. It doesn't change. That is persistence. Then information access. Yes. So whatever information is there in RAM, you can read and modify. random access. But whatever information is there in ROM, you can only read, you cannot modify. That is, the name is read only memory. You can only read it. That's it. Again, so this ROM, many ways it can be asked in examination. परीक्षा में अलग अलग तरह से इसको पूछा जा सकता है. जैसे which memory type you can only read, or which memory type you cannot change the information stored. So this permutations you have to create. ये permutation आपको बनाते आना चाहिए. Okay. Then storage. Okay. Impact. So RAM has a high impact on processing. ROM doesn't have that much impact. In fact, let us make it more practical. I understand that few of you must be using laptops. So the vendor from whom you have bought the laptop, sometimes you feel that it is slow, or given an option, when you look for configuration of, in fact, when you look for configuration of your mobiles also today, so you read through the storage capacity and RAM. So you have 8 GB RAM, 16 GB RAM, 64 GB RAM, because more the RAM is, more the processing power is. Like those gaming mobile phones through which you can do gaming, laptops through which you can do gaming, they have higher RAM, because higher the RAM, higher is the performance. So it has direct relationship with the performance. Then cost. RAM is costly. Per unit cost of buying RAM is high. ROM is not that costly. Speed, yes, RAM has larger speed. ROM is slow in speed. Then capacity. RAM memory is large and high capacity. ROM is small and low capacity. So that is now. So what I want, based on this table that you have gone through, I want you to give different name to identify RAM. रैंडम एक्सेस मेमोरी को किन और अलग अलग नाम से आप ढूंढ सकते हैं वो बताइए. ओके, आई वांट यू टू नेम रैम. different names that you can give to RAM. Let me just make this table 100% visible. Yeah. So I want you to tell the name that you can give to RAM. Let me read through your questions. Yes, Sunil Kumar, perfectly said. Sunil Kumar, okay, I avoided that. The types of RAM, EPROM, PROM, you can remember. How to identify ROM in mobile phone? No, Gundu Chandrasekhar. See, ROM will be there because they see to be able to operate any system. Some basic information is needed. So that is part of ROM. So it is always going to be there. Identification means if you want to say how to identify size of it, then we need to learn. I myself also don't know how to get to the size of ROM, but it is going to exist because some information has to be permanently kept in the system. Yeah, so Dikshita has said it. So you can call random access memory as temporary memory also. You can call it as volatile memory also. Yes. So this is how you remember. So just please do create this permutation combination on this table because many questions are asked on this table. Okay. Then, yeah, Manisha has asked address bus. So Manisha, okay, let me bring that up here. So please understand that first, let us understand the word bus. So bus is the electrical circuitry. Now I say data bus, I say address bus. So the purpose that electrical circuitry is achieving, that is being prefixed to the word bus. But bus per se is an electric circuit. Okay, please understand. Why you call it as bus is like the binary digits. The information flows. So you can say that information sits and travels. So you call it as a bus like that. But then the purpose it does is prefix. So data bus takes data, address bus takes the address detail into the next location. Yeah, Shivam has put a good question that when we update our, suppose you are updating your operating system on the mobile, then update is where? Good. So Shivam, uh, if there is a change in the basic definition, then uh, rarely, but it is possible that ROM may be updated. It's a possibility. The answer is yes. But most of the time that is not there. Most of the time the software or the application creates new feature. So that new feature is stored in the secondary memory. Shivam, whatever you update, it goes to the secondary memory. The program, the application is stored in the secondary memory. And then when you start using that new feature, then it is uploaded to the primary memory. And which part of the primary memory? That is random access memory. So I've tried to answer your question exactly the way it is. It has to be read. So Shivam, so update is there. So update is a application. It is stored in secondary memory first. Second, does it change ROM? Rare chance, but the possibility is there. Then when you start using the updated app, then the new updations are uploaded to RAM. Then it starts operating through RAM. Okay. Yeah, good. So Harshit has added one more word, modifiable. So 3 words other than RAM, temporary, volatile, and modifiable. Great. So just carry these words. Okay, good. So let us go to the our PPT. Now, so cache memory. So we'll read the definition of cache memory from the module itself, and then I'll try to give you some examples on cache memory. Just give me a second. Yeah. So cache memory. It's a okay, Varsha. Good. So, Varsha, the date that you see is basically part of BIOS. It is part of ROM. Yeah, that is Shivam. You got it. Yes. Because it changes the ROM part. Then, so coming to cache memory, it's a smaller, extremely fast memory type built into computer CPU and acts as a buffer between RAM and the CPU. Cache memory stores copies of data from most frequently used main memory locations so that CPU can access it more rapidly than main memory. Now, please understand that what exactly cache memory is doing. So cache memory, understand the concept, okay? Because then you can use cache at other locations also, but understand the concept. So there are 2 devices which are processing information. So cache memory, what it does, it tries to create a buffer so that the processing speed mismatch can be managed. Okay. So it is like a buffer where you can manage the processing speed mismatch. Now let us read. Cache memory is a smaller, extremely fast memory type built into computer CPU and acts as a buffer between RAM and CPU. What happens? Central processing unit processes very fast and send updates to the random access memory. The speed of CPU is like speed of light. It is processing. RAM may be slightly slower. So this, because it has processed data and CPU now wants to be free. So whatever it has processed, it sends it to the cache memory. This cache memory has to send it to RAM. So as soon as RAM is free, it sends. So that is the basic purpose of cache memory. This you will have to remember. The difference between process registers are high speed processors. Okay. So I'll read them. Process register, these are high speed memory units within CPU for storing small amount of data. Cache memory is fast memory built in computer CPU and is used to reduce the average time to access data from main memory. The data that is stored within a cache might be values that have been computed earlier or duplicates of original value. Then process registers are registered only memory units most processors can operate directly. Cache memory is an interface. Okay. So process registers are directly linked to CPU. Just remember them. Nothing will be needed beyond what is written. Okay. Yeah. Sunil Kumar, good to know, but that much depth as of now is not needed. Okay. But then if you know, then just keep a tag of nothing bad in knowing more like that. Then secondary memory. So secondary memory, let us read through here itself. Are devices which are non-volatile, have greater capacity, they have large size, greater economic cost per unit of secondary memory will be very, very less compared to ROM. The speed is slow. Examples of secondary memory are hard disk, pen drive, all like your secondary storage that you have in mobile. So that is secondary. So now let us read through differences also. Yeah, in Varsha has written a good point. Let me read through that. Her point is, what type of memory which store printing command process data for print? That is also cache, Varsha. You may call it as buffer or cache, but exactly the same. So what happens that suppose you give a print command for 1000 pages, your system will process in less than a second. But printer will not be able to print that 1000 pages in a second. So that print spool file from the processor is sent to this buffer. That is exactly what it does, managing the speed mismatch between processor and printer. So that is again a purpose of cache memory. Yeah, floppy is also secondary, but does anyone use floppy, Shivam? I don't think people use floppy today. People use pen drive, hard disk, like that. But yeah, if it is the point, then I'll accept that it's a secondary storage. In fact, your control S, the symbol of save is floppy only. Okay, today also it is floppy. Then, so now differences. So again, difference between, now you're reading differences between primary memory and secondary memory. So basic primary memory is accessed directly by CPU. Secondary is not directly accessible by CPU. Okay. Data. Instruction or data to be currently executed are copied to the primary memory. Data to be permanently stored is kept in secondary memory. Like we had a question that updates to any application. So all updates to the application will be basically stored in the secondary memory. But as soon as you start using the application, that is uploaded to the main memory. Volatility, primary memory is usually volatile. Now, please understand, primary memory has two components, RAM and ROM. So that is why it is not saying that it is 100% volatile. It is saying usually volatile because out of RAM and ROM, the size of RAM is larger. So it is using the word usually volatile. Just keep a tag of the words. Secondary memory is non-volatile because it's permanent. Our primary memory is made of semiconductors, chips are there. Secondary memories is magnetic and optical material. Access speed of primary is very fast, secondary is much, much slower than that. Access primary memory is accessed through data bus, that electrical circuitry. Secondary memory through input output channels, your hard disk, the reader of the hard disk. Doing this on a secondary memory storage device. Now, this kindly do understand the way it is written. Expense. Okay. Let me read through this and then keep a tag of the way you need to understand it. Primary memory is costlier than secondary memory. Secondary memory is cheaper than primary memory. I want you to write a word, add a word. I'll type it here. When you do this relative comparison, then the comparison is between the what you can say is the per unit cost. Please understand. Okay, you are looking at. Just give me a second. So when you want to say that, so you are saying per unit cost of data is large. Please understand. Huh? Yes. So when I say expense, primary is costlier in terms of per unit of data that I'm storing. Okay. It has to be very clear like this one. Just remember it. Then, yeah, primary. So memory means you can say location. So memory primary is internal and secondary is external. So again, these differences are again source of many questions in examination, direct question, MCQs. So now you need to create combinations from this. So now what I want, like I want you to define primary memory with different names. So I want you to create names for primary memory. Please do it. Names of primary memory other than primary memory. What additional names can be associated with primary memory based on the discussion we had? Because these become direct questions in examination. So I expect you to write the names of primary memory. Yeah. Okay, Prithvi, I'll take that, but I'll accept that because it's here it's also written that primary memory is usually volatile. So you have to say usually temporary like that. Okay. So I'll accept that. Then it was more pertinent in comparison to RAM ROM, but okay, let us take it. Yes, internal memory. So primary you also call as internal memory. And one more, I'll bring that line. It is also known as the main memory. So main memory, internal memory, primary memory, and usually temporary. So you could have more than one name. Yeah. So let us go to our slide. Just give me a second. We have talked about secondary, primary. Yeah. Now, so it's seven. The hierarchy in respect how it is. So process registers, then it goes. So CPU is linked to process register, then cache memory, then primary, then secondary memory. So that is how it works like. So it's 7:10. So it's a good time to take a break. Let us take a 10 minutes break. We'll assemble at 7:20. It's a break time. Important tea break. So let us just have a refresh. Any queries you have? Okay, so we had names for primary memory, volatile, temporary, main, internal. Good. And this is how they are linked. So means you can say their physical and operational distance from the CPU. So first you have process register, then cache, then primary, then secondary. Next important topic is output. Now, please understand that this gains lot of prominence the way today information is being processed. So it may appear simple in terms, but we'll see, we'll add a lot of value to this discussion. Okay. Thank you, Gundu Chandrasekhar. Now, computer system provide output to decision makers at all levels in an enterprise to solve business problem. The desired output may be visual, audio, digital. Output devices are devices through which system responds. Now, two aspects to be looked into. So I'll be reading and then I'll be asking questions on this topic. Now, from whatever we'll read through, but from whatever you are reading, I want you to write that which is of the 5 options, which 2 of the 5 options on the screen, which 2 are mostly used by top management, which 2 are mostly used by top management. First question. Then once I complete, I'll be asking another question. So what you are answering is that there are 5 type of output form given, which are used by top management for their information review or decision making purpose, as you may like to define it. Let us read through. Simple. Form of output: textual, graphical, tactile, such as raised line drawing may be useful for some individuals who are blind. So in the on calculator that we all use, okay, so the calculator that you use, which number of the calculator has the tactile line to help a blind person identify which number he or she is typing, which number on the this calculator has the tactile line. So second question. First was of the given output types, which 2 are most used by top management. Then audio output and video output, which consists of images played back at speeds to provide appearance of full motion. So these are types of outputs. Let us see your answers. Yes. So of all the options we have given, graphical is the most common. So when you want to make presentation to top management, a graphical presentation adds a lot of value to the lot of understanding, a lot of data you can compile, crunch in a single graph. So graphical, of course, text is there, but given an option, graphical goes very well. So nature of output can also be linked to the level of management of the user and also purpose. Now, another question. Say, for example, you are doing a forensic audit. It's a new word. Probably you must have, or you are doing an investigation. You are doing a forensic audit or an investigation. Of the 5 given, which is going to be the most convincing? You are doing a forensic audit or an investigation. Of the 5 type of outputs given, which is going to be the most convincing for a forensic or an investigative audit? Yes, so we have got answer. Video output. Great. So for doing forensic or investigation, video is one that is more reliable. So based on the nature also, the purpose also, you select the output type, form of output. Then next is easy. Output devices, this I'm not discussing with you. I'll just run through them fast. Speakers, headphones, screens, printers, video output communication aid, automotive navigation systems, plotters, wireless devices. So this, you can add 10 more. Huh? This is an illustrative list. So people, hardware. Now coming to software. So software is defined as a set of instructions that tell hardware what to do. Software is created through process of programming. Without software, hardware is not would not be functional. Two type of software: operating and application. Operating system software. An operating system is a set of computer program that manages computer hardware resources and acts as an interface with the computer application program. The operating system is a vital component of computer system software in a computer system. Yes. Examples now you know, so I'll not be reading through this. So operating system that manages the hardware resources. That is basically a computer system. Okay, good. So Varsha has a question. What is a plotter? So I'll explain Varsha after the definition. Then what activities are done by operating system? So operating system does following activities: link to the hardware, create a user interface, create a hardware independence. Now please understand, create hardware independence means whatever hardware you have, you can have a different operating system working on that. Just for example, suppose you have a system where your hard disk is say 1 TB, 1 terabyte. So when you buy your desktop machine or even your laptop, you can always ask your vendor to do a hard disk partition. So 1 terabyte hard disk, the vendor logically breaks it into two. So one part of the hard disk is 512 gigabytes, other is also 512 gigabytes. On the two portions of the hard disk, you can have two operating systems. So when you start your desktop laptop with partitioned hard disk, at the start, it asks you which operating system you want to have. So on one part, you could have Windows operating system. On another part of the same hardware, you can have a Linux operating system. What does it mean? It means that on a same hardware machine, you have allowed it to be used by two operating systems. That is point number 3, hardware independence. So multiple operating system can be used on a single hardware. The only thing you have to do is get your hard disk partitioned. And logically, it is partitioned. Only one part works on Linux, other part would be work on Windows or whichever two operating system you select. Then memory management, managing these primary, secondary memories. Networking capability, allowing more systems to work together. Logical access security, creating password security, and file management. Then, now because the header changes from OS to application software, let us answer the query. Yeah, plotter. Yeah, Darshan, one. Okay, so it has become for FIFO. So Darshan's is the latest query. Yeah, 1 terabyte hard disk is available. In fact, it has become a standard now, Darshan. You go for a good configuration laptop, they give 1 TB hard disk now. It's standard now. Okay. Then Shivam, I think you have talked about operating system. Yes. Then Varsha, plotter. Okay. So the best example is this. If you go to an architect or an engineer or a doctor who does a ECG, electrocardiogram of your heartbeats. So you said that very like 2-inch paper on which your heartbeats are marked. So that machine on which that ECG is output generated, electrocardiogram output generated, it has a pointed tip. It plots the heartbeat. So that is a plotter. That exactly is a plotter. Yes. So Sunil, the question is good. Uh, that what purpose? So the purpose is that then if you have say to choose from 10 different operating system with different capabilities, different way of working, then you can select your own. Just for example, just take this as an example. Like Windows operating system is called as a close-ended system. Close-ended system is once you buy it out, you cannot make modifications. But Linux operating system is referred to as an open-ended system, where if you buy the operating system, you can make modifications based on your requirement. Of course, to be able to update, modify an operating system, that much skill and competence is needed. But companies, those possess those skills, they will prefer a Linux operating system because that can be configured as per the need of the company. So that is the first part of the answer, that you can select an operating system as per your need. Now let us link it to the second part of the answer, that if I can select an operating system as per my need, the hardware that I buy must be independent from the operating system that I am going to put on that hardware, so that my choices are not limited. Just for example, if you want, you can carry this. uh, there is a very famous server by IBM called as IBM AS 400. It's a very old, sir, 40, 50 years back, IBM created that server, IBM AS 400. Now, this hard machine, IBM, this hardware had a specific operating system referred to as OS 400. So this operating system can only work on AS 400. Now, because the hardware has a specific operating system so that it can be used, in this, the independence is not created. So for IBM to be able to sell that AS 400, it becomes a restrictive proposition, because not many people can use. Anyone who wants to use, he or she must have that operating system. But it's more than 50 years back or even beyond that. Okay. So it's just for knowledge that the independence of hardware to operating system is so important for business, means for the manufacturer of the hardware also it is good, and for the user of system it is also good. Sometime means just sharing it, if you get an occasion, if you are able to go to, as an auditor, you are able to go to one of the organization that still has IBM AS 400 machines that I know is BSNL. And with the permission of the authorities, if they allow you to go to the server room, you can see the IBM AS 400 server there. But then, of course, it's doing more like. Yeah, Dikshita, plotters are used to create posters also. Digital thermometer. Okay, yeah. Second, so again, bottom up, Shivam, digital thermometer, digital BP machines, which memory they use for storing data. Yes, good. So, Shivam, these machines are now being configured. So the machines are available, which has secondary memory also. So when you buy those machines, you can read the config. It will tell you that this machine has capability of storing, say, 30 days data, or they can also give in terms of reading, that 1000 reading you can store in this machine. So wherever it is being stored, it is by default, they have created a secondary memory location. That's then GUI, graphical darshan. Okay, keep this pending. This GUI is going to come as a part of discussion. It has to come. Then application software, the user's need is made out through the application software. User की जो जरूरत है वो किससे पूरी होती है? Application software. Then there are hundreds of applications: Tally, Microsoft, PowerPoint, Word, Excel, Access. Everything that we are using, all mobile applications are application software. So I'm not reading this through. Application software includes computer software that causes a computer to perform useful tasks beyond the computer. So the user requirements are met out through the application software. That is. And then we're not reading the examples. You can write thousands of examples. Then coming to data. So data resources, data plural of datum, raw bits and pieces of information. For years, business house have been gathering information with regard to customer, supplier, business partners, markets, cost, price movement, and so on. So data is now helping companies to create strategy for future. This is precisely the reason why we started hearing a lot about data analytics. So today that is a key word. When you say data, it has hierarchy. So data is a single information. Database is collection of information at a location, and database management system is the software that is going to manage that database. So database, a set of logically related or interrelated organization collection of data is database. The goal of many information systems is to transform data into information to generate knowledge that can be used for decision making. So total CA student registered for CA intercourse. So this on the ICAI website, Institute has brought a very good feature, member and student statistics. So now it is available real time. How many students are registered, then of how many are doing foundation, how many are doing inter, and how many are doing final. So you can always go and see total registered number of students, how many there which are doing CA. So roughly more than 8 lakh students are doing, and of this foundation, inter, and final. So you can see, so that this information becomes database. And then you require system to manage database. Here comes database management systems. These are the software that aid in organizing, controlling, using the data needed by the application program. They provide the facility to create and maintain well-organized database. These systems are primarily used to develop, analyze single user database and are not meant to be shared across internet, but instead installed on a device and work with a single user at a time generally. Now, what I'll just draw a diagram so that we can operationally see how does it work like. Okay. So I'm just keep a tag of this diagram. Okay. Just give me a second. So see how systems will be generally operating. User is going to generate request to the application program. This application program is linked to the database. So from the application program, the request will go logically to database. From here, information will be collected, processed here, and then presented in user readable form here to the user. So this is how, so always understand that this is the basic frame of the way systems are working. Let me add just one more part so that we clear the idea behind all these operations. Okay, just give me a second. This application program works on top of an operating system. So you have the operating system and on that application program and all this. The application and the operating system, they are going to be housed in a hardware. So that is how it looks like. Just keep a tag of this so that when we talk about, you understand what is happening to which aspect. Okay. So user sends the request to the application program. The application program sends the user request to database. Database responds. The application programs compile the information, presents the same to user in the format needed. This application program works on a top of operating system, and both application program and operating system are housed in a hardware. That you need to understand. The only difference is that if my application is not installed, it is cloud-based in chapter 1, 2. So then this application will be available on internet. But even if it is available on internet, it is going to be stored in a hardware of a third person. So it is mandatorily going to be stored on hardware of a third person, or mandatorily stored on a hardware. The only difference is if it is installed, then your own hardware. If it is cloud-based, on a third person's hardware. So that is how these operate. There are many questions. Let us see. Yeah, you can see for regions also the student data. Yes, Shivam. No, Sunil, no. Database I am reading. So let us read. Okay, DPD. I used to call it DP square. Digital Personal Digital Protection Bill has been passed. Yes. So it is going to have implications. Yes. Good. We'll talk about it during the course of discussion. Then, database management system. So what DBMS does? Database management system may be defined as a software that aid in organizing, controlling and using the data needed for program. They provide the facility to create and maintain a well-organized database. These systems are primarily used to develop, analyze single user database and are not meant to be shared across a network or internet, but they are instead installed on a device, work with a single user at a time. That is the general idea. So a database management system manages the database. Okay. So database then can have different ways of storing data, but the software that is managing that stored database is database management system. What are the advantages? Yes. First is it permits data sharing, because what has happened now, you have brought data in a singular location. So many people can access data based on the access given to them. So there are access controls on database, who can access, who cannot access, but based on the access given to individuals, they can access. So that allows data sharing. In fact, the first 3, 4, to get a good understanding, let me share the history of this whole technology, how it evolved. So once I share the history, then the understanding of this slide will be easy. So let us talk about the history. Let me write something. See, before this whole idea about database came, there was a concept of file. Probably you must have read through. Let me draw the whole chart for that. So there is something called as bit. Then bit is converted to field. Field is converted to so bits. Then bit is collection of bits become a field. Collection of fields become record. Collection of records becomes file. Just remember. So bit is a binary digit. Collect bits, it becomes a field, like your name. Okay. So my name is Atul. So that becomes a field. Then collection of fields become a record, like you. So you have got your CRO number, WRO, NRO, SRO, ERO number. So that becomes, so your name and other things, that becomes a record. Collection of records become a file. So you are all appearing for CA Inter second group. So that becomes a file. Now, before this idea about database came, say 30 years, 40 years back, all this was kept in a file. Now, what was the problem? The problem was basically with file. What was the problem? The problem was, so this example will clear the most part of this slide. Okay. The file could not be shared. Now, let us understand with an example. Okay. So I'm asking you a question. Try to answer it. Suppose I talk about, say, a debtors file. Debtors file. It is a file, so it cannot be shared. So given an option, which department is going to possess the debtors file? Whether sales department or say accounts. Given an option, which department according to you is going to possess the debtors file? Whether sales department or purchase department. Let us give you time to answer. Understand, we are 40, 50 years back. The records are there. We are using computers. We are generating systems, generating reports. But that time, the recording was done like this. So a debtors account will be a debtors file. What was the problem? It cannot be shared. So a debtors file will be one. The owner is going to be only one. Who is that owner? No, Gundu Shekhar, both, Gundu Chandrasekhar, both option is, it cannot be both. That is the trouble. So you have to select one. Okay. So multiple options are there. But okay, given the way things are, so ideally it is with the sales department, because sales department is going to make a new product sale, so they will be updating. Now see what happened. Visualize how things are going about. So the file is available with debtors department, sales department. Now accounts department also needs the file. So it goes to the sales department. Account manager goes to the sales department. Give us the debtors file. So sales department asks why. So accounts department says, because we want to make a list of overdue debtors. आप हमको debtors की file दीजिए, क्योंकि हमको overdue debtors का list बनाना है. Now sales is least interested in getting overdue debtors list. They are interested in making sales. They are not interested in getting payments. So they are not interested in sharing file. But then reluctantly, the sales manager gives files to the account manager. Okay, return it by the evening today. So the account manager makes a overdue list and give back the file to the salesperson. There is a lot of overdue. Next day morning, account manager again goes to the sales. We need the file again. We want to update it. Now, because every time the accounts manager goes to the sales manager and asks for the file, and the sales manager reluctantly gives and many times says, no, we cannot give. You know what happens? So there is a fight. There is a real fight. So then they both go to the general manager. So general manager says, okay, let us have a solution. You know what is the solution they found? We are 40 years back. Huh? The solution they found was so they create a copy of file and give to the accounts. Great. So one file is with sales, another copy is with accounts. Now because accounts has a copy, it can keep it permanently, use it for all calculations, overdue generation, they do everything. Then, so they send a list of overdue to the sales. Now, two files are there. Who is doing the sales? Sales department. So sales department update their file and they don't intimate accounts. Means it's not a fraud. They inadvertently misinforming the accounts. They sell the goods, update their file, but don't intimate the accounts that we have sold this. What happens? So the salesperson file is updated, but accounts is not updated. This creates an issue of reconciliation. Now to all this problem, a solution was found when what was created? A database was created. So database, the key feature of database was it allowed sharing of data. Now with this example, let us read through. So this was when file was there. Now data is being kept in database. So first point is database is shared. Agreed. Minimize redundancy. Because database is shared, you need not create a copy of it. See, redundancy is addition. What is redundancy? The grammatical meaning of redundancy is, the dictionary meaning is copy, additional version. Because database is a shared thing, you need not create a copy. You just see, because file here was not shared. Here, the file was not shared. So because it was not shared, what had to be done? A copy had to be created. But database is shared. You need not create a copy. If you don't create a copy, redundancy doesn't increase. It remains low. But in file system, it was high. Then integrity can be maintained. Yes, because in database, you can give access rules. Who can do what? So you can maintain integrity. And file consistency. Yes, here in previous system, debtors file with sales was updated. Copy of accounts was not updated. Consistency was not there. So these were the issues in the previous way of storing information in file format, which had been taken care by database. That is the word. So knowing the problem, you understand the benefits much better. Then user friendly, because people can access data like that. What institute is giving member statistics and student statistics, it's fantastic. Better security. Yes. Data and program independence. Yes. So in the chart I showed, so application program and database, they work separately. So database has stored data. Any change you make in application program to get better report, you can directly gain that. You can directly get those changes updated. No need to change your database like that. So from same database, you get additional information. And because independence is created, you can modify applications without worrying about changes to be made in database. Then, so there's a question for the header. Database management system disadvantages. So I'm asking you the question. With the disadvantages given as they are, if an option is given to go for database management system or not to go for, so you have to say whether you will go or not go. You can say yes, no. Better is go, not go. So you say whether you will go for database management system or not go, like that. Okay. So cost of implementing is, yes, high. It's a very advanced technology. Lot of improvements are being done. Security is important. So when you create a data, because it's a shared resource. So when you use a shared resource, you need to create good and better security. But then that is a done job. You can always do it. Okay. Now, because header changes, so let us see to your questions. So sales department, yes. So most of you said sales. Good. Yes. Yeah. Shivam, exactly. That is the point. So that is how we did it. Yes, reconciliation becomes an issue. Better to go to database. Yes. More advantage. So at disadvantages, outdo the advantages outdo the disadvantages. Must go for it. Great. Network and communication systems. Now this will be the technology quotient of this portion is slightly high. Okay. So we'll keep it. I'll keep it as near to as your understanding. But a lot of technical words are there. So just keep a tag of them. Try to remember as they come. Harshit, good. For integrated, go. For non-integrated, don't go. Harshit, non-integrated don't have system. So the question of going, not going is not there, but your point is good, valid point. So this understanding has to come. See this discussion, the way we learn, understand. So in fact, I think who said today, sir, आप पढ़ाते हैं तो समझ में आ जाता है, फिर पढ़ते हैं तो ध्यान नहीं रहता है. So see, understanding, discussing is always going to help. We can do one more thing. See, my idea is that the practicality of the subject is phenomenal. Say today is say 7th of August. So we'll have a class on 9th and then on 11th. So what you can do on 11th of August, we'll have a you log in early, and then in this 3 days, 4 days, I want you to write at least one thing about technology as you have read in the daily newspapers. Okay. तो 4 दिन बाद 11 तारीख को की क्लास में आप लोग लॉग इन थोड़ा सा जल्दी करें, और इन 4 दिनों में 7 तारीख से 11 तारीख के बीच टेक्नोलॉजी रिलेटेड जो समाचार आपने पढ़े होंगे उसका हेडलाइन अपन पेस्ट करें. We'll read through that. We'll be learning. Yes, very good, Shivam. Businesses don't have option other than to go for database. It's a very well presented sentence, Shivam. Good. Okay. Now, the last part of component, that is network and communication system. Then, so without network, nothing is going to work through. So I'm just not reading this through. I'll read second para. So telecommunication network gives an organization the capability to move information rapidly between distant locations and to provide the ability for employees, customers, suppliers to collaborate from anywhere, combined with capability to bring processing power to the point of application. In fact, I don't know how is the status in the cities or town you are, but the city and town I am, if in the evening there is any say tea bar or a coffee bar or a cafe, and if there are say more than 25 students at that location, शाम के समय चाय की दुकान पे, कॉफी की दुकान पे या कोई स्नैक्स जॉइंट पे अगर एक साथ 25 युवा बच्चे दिखते हैं, तो मैं यही समझता हूं कि यह इस दुकान पर फ्री वाईफाई अवेलेबल है. That is what technology is. That is what network is. So that is how we learn. So network is key. In fact, we have been all reading through that government of India has already, India as a country has rolled out 5G. So technology is, I don't know whether this telemedicine you must have read through, the way it is making difference to the people in deep rural areas. Then just keep these words. These are part of syllabus. Telemedicine, then we are going to talk about in chapter 5, direct benefit transfer, DBT. So keep these words. These are all enabled through technology, DBT. So what networks do? Telecommunication system leads to value creation for organization. This may be in form of I'll give you practical example, phenomenal examples to learn. An increase in efficiency of operation, improvement in effectiveness of management, and innovations in the marketplace. Let us do in the reverse manner. Today, like big fast moving consumer goods company in India, so today their sales representative go to the retailers to collect orders for the product. So the chain is like this. Let me draw the chain for good understanding. Some changes, but roughly this is going to the way it is going to. So you have the uh, manufacturers. Then these manufacturers are going to send goods to their CFAs, clearing forwarding agents, and they will be selling to wholesalers. And this wholesaler will be selling to retailers. Now, so here is the manufacturer of goods. So the sales representative of the company today. So see, large companies have their clearing, CFA is clearing forwarding agent. They are in all big cities across India have clearing forwarding agents of large, fast moving consumer goods company. So they are there. So this employee of the main company, they are stationed as clearing forwarding agent. So let me clear the business also. Okay? So manufacturer manufacture goods. The regular goods are stocked at clearing forwarding agents godown. Big godowns are there. Then from clearing forwarding agents, the goods are dispatched to wholesalers who then dispatch to retailers. Companies sales representative take orders from retailers. So now they carry tab along with that. So the order is put there itself, tag as a SIM, it is available on network. The order is collected. The order is uploaded to the wholesaler's location. So wholesaler's ID is there that because locational distribution has to be done. So then the company divides the city in say 10 parts so that each wholesaler has some business to do. So the retailer is in say A area and A area is scattered by X wholesaler. So the order is automatically uploaded to the system of wholesaler X. The inventory is there. So it is validated that whether the item is available. If it is available, immediately on the pad of this sales representative information comes that the product is available. This is the total value of the product. So everything is there. Now, before the sales representative accepts the order, he wants a validation whether the retailer has any pending dues. On the tab itself, there is a button that any dues from the retailer, he clicks the button, the system says, no pending dues. Immediately he tells the retailer, your order is accepted. Email, a WhatsApp message is sent to the retailer. This is your order value. This is your invoice amount. Please make the payment. Immediate execution. When goods are available at the wholesaler. If the goods are not available at the wholesaler, backend they are linked to the clearing forwarding agent. So clearing forwarding agent gets a detail that this wholesaler needs these products. Immediately all the validations are done. Details about the wholesalers are updated and timeline is drawn that within say next 2 days, the goods will be sent to wholesaler so that the sales representative standing at the door of the retailer can tell the retailer that your product will be delivered by the 3rd day. Phenomenal automation. We have taken many examples. This is very specific to the marketplace that we are looking at. So unimaginable use of technology, and what the key component is networking that has been done. That is how it has to work like. Look to the impact it has on the efficiency of the operations, effectiveness of management. Yes, so just imagine that the company that I am talking about, they have a turnover of something around, last I read, 26,000 crores. So 26,000 crores you divide by 360. So at the company has roughly what 100 or say 75 crores daily turnover. So that much order are being collected on a day-to-day basis. So imagine the impact technology is creating on the operations of the company. And then data analysis and artificial intelligence, which region, which product is being sold and which product is not being sold. Are we creating a non-moving inventory at one location? And so non-moving inventory in say one state of a product and it's a moving inventory in another state. So let us shift all the product to other states. So unimaginable uh, data analysis is done on based on this information that you generate through networking capabilities. Yes, Shivam, CFA take decisions for logistics. Yes, they do take. Thank you. Then next is easy. So wired and so like we use Wi-Fi. So that is a unwired connection. So I'm not reading that. So connection oriented, where you establish a connection, then you send a message. Connectionless, no connection is established and you directly exchange data. The only thing is recipient is identified through security. Then just keep these are important words. I told you that this part of the chapter is going to have some technical words that I want you to remember. So just keep a remembrance of the word. Routing. So routing, the meaning is in the word itself. Routing means the path. कैसे किस रास्ते से जाएगा. I'm sharing something from my own experience during school days. So now, when you used to go to school, so probably you will be going by your own vehicle, two-wheeler or even a four-wheeler. In our time, we used to go by bicycle. So that is in 89. So roughly 40 years back from today. 40 yes, 40 and 35 years, yes. So we used to go to school by bicycle. I started going by bicycle when I was in class 9th. So routing. So so while we were going to school, the path was constant. जब सुबह स्कूल जाते थे रास्ता तय था, because we had to reach in time. So the path of going to school in the morning was fixed. But when we used to return from the school, then every day we will take a different path. That is routing. It refers to proceeding process of deciding how to communicate the data from source to destination. So because the morning source destination timing was very critical, evening it was open-ended. Of course, so in the evening source was school and destination was home, but path was undecided. It was like हर दिन एक नए रास्ते से ही जाना है. So that is we all do that mischief. Then bandwidth. So bandwidth, you know, broadband, and you are listening to 5G, 4G. So what exactly is a bandwidth? See, bandwidth is the quantum of data per unit of time. That is bandwidth. Let me repeat. Quantum of data per unit of time. That is bandwidth. So 1 million bits per second. 1 Mbps is a bandwidth. 100 million bits per second. 100 million bits per second is a bandwidth. 1 gigabits per second is a bandwidth. So how do you understand bandwidth? Imagine bandwidth as a pipe through which water will flow. The larger the diameter of a pipe, that much volume of water will flow in the volume of water flowing through a pipe with larger diameter will be more per second or per unit of time. That is bandwidth. So how to imagine bandwidth? Bandwidth को ऐसे imagine करें, पानी का पाइप है, जितना बड़ा डायमीटर होगा उतना पानी प्रति सेकंड तेजी से बहेगा. So bandwidth is like a pipe through which information is flowing. The larger the bandwidth, that much higher frequency of data travels per unit of time. Standard unit of time is per second. So you measure it in per second and then suffix with the volume. So 1 million per bit second, 100 million bits per second, 1 gigabits per second, that becomes a measurement. Then Okay. Then resilience. So she may have asked a question that we can do offline. Resilience. Uh, it refers to ability of a network to recover from any kind of error like connection failure or loss of data. In fact, let me put it in a very different manner. Then we'll come to the word resilience. So I say that those of us who do articleship ethically, genuinely, they gain lot of resilience. आप और मुझ में जो आर्टिकलशिप अच्छी तरह ईमानदारी से करते हैं, वो जीवन में कुछ भी करने के सक्षम हो जाते हैं, चाहे जो स्थिति हो. So it is basically capability of a network to survive itself in critical situations. That is resilience. So once you complete your articleship well, then you develop a lot of resilience. You become hard like that. And I must have shared, I had a pleasure of completing a 4 years articleship. So then contention. It refers to the situation that arises when there is a conflict for some common resource. Yes. For network connection, it could arise when two or more computer systems try to communicate at the same time. Now, contention means that, see, the pipe is single, but two people want to send information. So who gets the right to send information? Now, see, contention is an issue that is going to arise, but there are rules that are also there in system that how this contention will be addressed. So the rules can be first in, first out, means the person who reaches first at the gate, he or she can access the path to information bandwidth. There is a chance that both persons reach at some same moment of time, photo finish. Then what happens? Then system has rules that based on the hierarchy or the criticality of information between two users, and one user may be selected, and then the bandwidth is made available to that user. So that is how you can address contention. Then benefits, distributed nature. Okay, so network, distributed nature, resource sharing, add to the computational power, add to the reliability of performance, and better user communication. So good network leads to all this. So that is components of information system. It's nearing 8:15. So before we start the next topic, let us do the MCQ. So I'm bringing the MCQ. We'll first complete the MCQ. And if time permits, we'll come to this. So let us go to the MCQs. Okay, good. Darshan has put a very good question. Let me read that. Good, Darshan. I am enjoying it. Many people use common Wi-Fi due to which speed of internet is slower. Is it contention? No, Darshan. It is bandwidth. Bandwidth is the information flow per unit of time. Say, for example, the bandwidth is, say, 100 million bits per second, and there are 100 people. So each will get an allocation of 1 million bits per second. But suppose 100 million bits per second is there, and there are only 50 users. So your access becomes 2 million bits per second. Suppose it is only one, then it is 100 million bits. So it is basically allocation of bandwidth. But the point that you have made, because this situation could arise, so this rule is already put in system that 100 million bits per second is the total bandwidth. If 100 people access, then pro rata allocate the bandwidth to each of them. Okay. No, I think we must save articleship. I have got lot of faith. Of course, it's an evolving process, so we need to address the updates as they come about. But yeah, so let us go to the MCQ. Just give me a second. Let me refresh the query chat. Okay, so Survi wants, see, contention is, let me bring a word to contention. Okay, so contention is Who has access? इस जगह को किसका अधिकार है? That is contention. This belongs to whom? This resource belongs to whom? So in a network, there's a bandwidth that is available. There's a communication channel that is available. The question may come that if two people come at the gate of the communication channel and fight that this is mine, that issue is contention. That issue is, it's not a positive thing, but that issue is that who is owning that, who has access to that. That is contention. ये मेरा है, यह कहना, that is contention. When two people are trying to get to the same communication link or same communication channel, that is contention. Sunil, earlier time that was not issue of contention. That was basically availability of network. The link were not working. So that is a different issue. Ownership, yeah. Great. Ownership of access, that is. Now, just give me a second. Let me bring the MCQs. We have talked about this. So you are going to, what you do, just write the question number and your option so that we can read your answers correctly. So write the question number and your answers. In fact, because many of you are there, and one of your means of all the students attending, some students answer comes first, second. So that is speed. The speed of network also is an issue to do with that. So whose answer comes first? So that person is using a good network. So in this question, Harshit's answer has come first. So let me refresh. Good. Let us see the correct answer. B. So that was done. Nothing to discuss. Yeah, Chanchal need not write so much. Only the question number and your answer. Okay. Save time. Next question. Good. Keyboard and mouse are pure input device. Monitor is pure output. Touch screen monitor has both the characters. To see. So that is the trick in the questions. This question we have not discussed, so keep it pending. I'll give you the answer. Let us keep it post discussion. Allow me to get the answer, or if you want to guess. So this question is a guessing question. One aspect we have discussed, not all, but at least one you can answer by one we have discussed, and one you can add with your common understanding. So I think you can get the correct answer. Yeah, one aspect we have discussed, one you can add with your common understanding. Manjula, you, I am not the best person to answer your query. Manjula, please send your query to the email ID of the institute, EIS. Kindly send your query to them. Yeah. So option, yeah, we have got for 3A. So security guard is physical and preventive, and managerial you had to add. So that was the only option with that A and physical and preventive. Yes. Good. Take your time. You know about each of these words. You have read it. Now, from this, you have to select the correct combination. Take time, no hurry. Yes, good. So Bluetooth is connectionless. MySQL is a database management system. Fire, this C, firewall is a preventive control, and LAN Cat 5 is cable connected network. Great. Great. C, good. Great. All of you answered correctly. हम्म, ये तो हमने किया मतलब जब हमने वो मेमोरी पढ़ी थी तो मैंने आपसे कहा था कि उसके अलग अलग नाम बताएं. So in a computer system, a memory which is volatile in nature and can read and modify the information is also called as. Yes, great. 7A. Very good. This also you'll have to, this we have to read through in the coming session, but okay. Try to answer this based on your understanding. I'll allow the answer to come, then we'll keep it as part of our discussion. As we go ahead, I'll tell you. Hash total. Now see, backup process. So corrective controls, the basic definition of corrective controls is that controls which are implemented to reduce, mitigate the losses which have occurred, to reduce the impact of losses. So backup, you use backup when you have a disaster. Rerun means doing the same job again part of corrective. Contingency planning is basically if something goes wrong, what you are going to do. So all these three are best examples of corrective. Hash total is preventive. It is basically part of uh, input, this preventive and detective control. When you have batch processing, then you use hash total to detect whether any mistake has been done during feeding of transaction. So we'll be reading through it, hash total. So it is part of the discussion. Keep it there. I'll explain. It is going to come. Okay. So that is questions we have done. Let us go to our slide. Just give me a second. So next is information system controls. So we'll take introduction of the topic today. So the controls are put in place, necessity part of the organizational requirement, necessary for organization to put in place controls to achieve the business purpose, the objectives, to mitigate the risks, mitigate the vulnerabilities that have come across. So without controls, any organization cannot work. Now, this is a very, very important question. What may happen in a some of critical controls lacking in computerized environment? What does happen? So this is the question that we do today. Rest will take day after. So lack of management understanding of risk and related controls. So even when organization put in place controls, due to management's not understanding the intensity of risk, that much control is not there. Then even if controls are there, it is inadequate. Absence or inadequate information system controls put in place. Absence or weak general controls, or that off has to be read as or, weak general controls and information system controls. So controls are there, but they are not strong controls. They have to be good controls. Then lack of awareness and knowledge of information system risk and controls amongst business users and even information technology staff. So this is again a huge issue that people don't understand the gap that comes because you don't know how systems are operating. Then controls known, complexity of implementation of control in a distributed computing environment and extended enterprises. So people are not implementing controls properly, or they don't implement because they think it is going to be a huge complex issue. So they avoid it. Lack of control features or implementation in high technology. Yes. So just understand this across the world, like AI, artificial intelligence, it's gaining ground. Lot of discussion is going about that how to keep a tag on artificial intelligence, chat GPT, how to ensure that that capability of technology is not being misused or used in systems. So today across the world in technology, one of the topic that is at the top of discussion every person is doing is how to create control features in chat GPT, how to prevent misuse of that capability. So it's a big thing. People don't understand how to control technology. Then improper implementation has its own source of risk in system. So critical controls lacking in controlled environment. Just keep a tag of this question. Then next topic we are going to take when we meet day after tomorrow, giving 10 seconds to all of you to ask any questions. Then we'll wind it up. So today has been a good score. We had made, so our score of chat today is triple century, 300. Great. So it's a great participation by all of you. Any further questions? Then we'll call the day off. 10 seconds more. uh, so acknowledging what Sunil and Darshan has said, see, the whole idea is that adding value to the process, and if understanding improves, believe me, you are going to get good marks in examination. That is what is the core purpose. So thank you. Let us call it a day. So good night. We are closing. Bye.